Hello there. This is MD. Here with you on SaskiYano. Here we go again. We are in a new After Effects tutorial. In this tutorial, you will learn about Keyframe Basics, which is at the heart of a tremendous amount of animation. Alright. So, I used a lot of what you might call buzzwords in those previous sentences. Animation. Keyframes. What does any of that means? For some folks, maybe the word animation conjures up hand-drawn images by the folks at Disney or something along those lines. But at the heart of it, the animation is a thing that changes over time. It might change shape, position, color, intensity, blur. It could be a number of things. But the main thing to understand is that there's a point at which it is one thing, and then at a later point in time, it is something different, or it is changed in some way. And one of the most common ways to do that in After Effects is using something called keyframes. So, in the previous tutorial, we looked at layer properties. Things like position, opacity, scale, rotation, anchor point. If you select this text layer here and press P, we can bring up one of those properties. And you may have noticed that there is a button just to the left of the word position. It is a stopwatch. If you click on this button, it will create a keyframe. That's what this is right here. It just created a keyframe. Now, in order to animate this, I'm going to have to move the CTI, or the current time indicator, to position later in time, and then I need to make a change to this layer's position. So I can just come up here to the comp panel. I can grab my layer and I can just move it. And congratulations, you have just animated thing in After Effects. You wasn't tremendously exciting, but you did it, and good job. So if you move your playhead back to the beginning, you can do that by clicking and dragging here, or pressing the home button on the keyboard. If you play this back by hitting the space bar, you will see the animation that you just created. And that right there is the basic idea behind keyframe animation. What you did is you created keyframes. Now, you created the first one by enabling the stopwatch button right here, and that created a single keyframe. Now if I select this keyframe right here and delete it, you'll see that a single keyframe, it doesn't do anything because it's just kind of a marker that says okay, at this time record this position. In this case, it's this position. It could be another parameter, but we're working on position now. And if we move later, well, if there's not another keyframe, the layer doesn't do anything. But we can make an adjustment here to the position, or we can just click and drag and move it to a new position. And now, at this time, the layer has a different position. You can see the value is different over here. The fact here, without you 960 by 540. Which is the center of a 1080 composition. If you move down, this is holding the value of 383.9 by 986.4. And in between here, we have movement. This is called interpolation. What's happening between these two keyframes? Something is moving. How is it moving? Well, it's moving in a linear fashion. And what that means is the speed that it's moving in between here is a constant. As soon as it starts moving, it maintains that speed until it reaches the second keyframe. And I can show you this by looking at the graph editor, which is right here. If you click on the graph editor, you can make some room here to see. This is showing you a graphical representation of the layer's movement as working on position. Now if you don't see this exact thing, click on this button right here to the right of this eyeball and make sure you have speed graph selected or edit speed graph. It may be on value graph by default. But I want you to look at speed graph. This is showing you can get an idea from this label here. Pixels per second, which is the speed this layer is moving. So when we hit this keyframe, right here, we are traveling at a speed of 388.08 pixels per second. And we maintain that speed to hit the second keyframe. And so soon as you hit the second keyframe, you are at 0 pixels per second. It drops off. It's like it hits the gas. And you are right at 388.08 pixels per second. Which is not that fast. And then, right here, you hit the world's biggest break. And you are not moving at all. Alright. That is called linear interpolation. Now, what if you didn't want to do that? Because if you look at the movement here, when you play this back, it's not particularly smooth. And I can show you this better. If I take the second keyframe and just move it to the left, which will make this go a lot faster. You see what's happening there? It starts moving. We go. And it stops. It's not very smooth. If you wanted to smooth this out a little bit more, we will need to ease this again. And we're to talk about that coming up in the next tutorial. But before we get there, I want to show you that you can apply the same keyframe concept to other properties. So, I'm gonna bring up the rest of the transform properties here. And we don't really need to adjust the anchor point. But, look, I'm gonna drop a keyframe on scale and rotation and opacity. Not come over to this second keyframe location. I'm gonna just modify this and just rotate it and make a huge just for no reason. Alright. And now look, all of those things have been animated. Coming up in the next tutorial, I'm going to show you how to smooth out an animation like this and make it look just a little bit sweeter. So check that out. Finally, we are done for today. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and leave your comment down below in the comments section. Also, if you want to learn more, take a look at our first channel, Everything PS. See you next time. Bye.